Hey everyone, I am really being guided to talk about something kind of cool that came up into my reality in the last 24 hours. So I'll kind of start with what happened today and then I'll backtrack into yesterday. So today I was on the phone with someone very special to me and I was getting ready to leave and this this oracle deck fell out. Actually, it's more like a motivational deck, but self-love, self-growth deck. And it fell out of my chair. And I was like, okay, I guess you're trying to tell me something. So I started to shuffle the cards and I was talking to my friend. And as I asked out, finally asked, what is it that you're trying to tell me? This card just flew out. And the card was Awaken your authentic self and be true to you. And at first I didn't really think yes, that's very special, but I didn't think anything of it too much because that's really what I've been working on for this year. Excuse me. But that's what I've been working on this year a lot. So I thought, it definitely fits for what's going on as a grander energy, but I didn't totally understand it. And I had to take my daughter to counseling, and I was sitting here, I was about to read a book that I've been reading, and then I was guided to just look up the card in the book that I have for it. And I'm really glad that I did that because it really expanded on what they wanted you to work with, or not they wanted you to, but what the suggestions were to work with if you wanted to use them. And it really started to tie in with what I was talking to my sister about last night, and I'll come to that in just a moment. So a few of the things that I wanted to pinpoint that were in the book regarding this card are things that I am really actually currently breaking through in this moment. So then I understood why the card came out. So the first thing that stood out was stop allowing others' opinions to define your worth and be true to you. And I just worked through this exercise the other day. I had signed up for a masterclass on the Mind Valley program, and I sat down and I followed what was being guided towards me, and I was able to release opinions that I was preconceiving for other people, I should say, because I'm a logical person and I want, things are going to be just so, and so I typically follow my logic based off of other people. So stop allowing others' opinions is super huge. So then the next part said, when you stop giving a shit about what other people think, you're free. And then it gives a quote from Georgia O'Keeffe, and she said, I have already settled it for myself. So flattery and criticism go down the same drain, and I am free. And I really felt that because, my whole life, to be honest, I've been criticized, but I've been hoping for flattery, I suppose. Not necessarily doing everything for flattery, but I never really got it. So I started hoping for it. And I see how that's really damaged me because I didn't ever really get it, because some of the stuff that I talk about is it's hard to criticize or be flattered by because you're just your brain's going. So that really helped me because I definitely the criticism hurts and the lack of flattery hurts too. So losing both of those things does set you free. And then you really can be yourself because you're doing what you've already, like she said, you settled it for yourself. So you're just doing it because it's what you want, what your heart wants. And that reminded me of this quote from Frozen, Let It Go, where she says, no right, no wrong, no rules for me, I'm free. And yeah, that's releasing opinions, totally. And I wanted to bring up that movie to tie it into this because I totally identify with Elsa and her experience throughout that movie. Now, when I first started watching that movie, I had a complex on one level because Disney puts out princess movies. And it wasn't really about the princess in the perception, like the angle that I was standing in at first. It wasn't really about the princess. It was about Elsa. And I did have to take a step back to realize it really is about Anna. Like, the whole movie is actually about Anna. You're just centering her experience around Elsa's awakening. And so it is about Anna growing and learning unconditional love, or just embodying unconditional love and following her heart also while Elsa's following hers. Now, I want to bring this up because my sister last night she brought up this movie, and so that's when we started talking about it. And that's when I brought up what I just said and how it really is about her. Like, it is a princess movie. It is about her, but it's just dealing with Elsa's awakening. And my sister made the comment, and she was just like, Elsa's pretty selfish, to be honest. And that triggered me. Not like, I didn't totally get defensive or anything like that. It triggered me, and I sat with it for a moment. Like, why did I feel that way? And it immediately came to me because I know, like, I really identify with her character because my awakening was very much the same. So I looked at my family at that point in time, and I was like, I think that it's kind of unfair to say that because she was following her heart. And I identify with that because a few years ago, I was following my heart, and I know that it didn't look great to everybody. And at that point, my stepdad looked up because he only really knows bits and pieces about my past and came in knowing that I could ascend. He knew that he could help. He basically did some energy work around my family in order for me to be able to ascend in the way that I am now, which is really cool. Whether he consciously knows that or not. But he did the work. And I'm so grateful for that, and I'm honored by that. And he looked at me and he was like, following your heart? And I was like, yes. I said, I was following my heart. I said, I know it didn't look great. I said, there is a thing though, like, you can follow your heart and not express it well. And he sat with that and said, okay, I can understand that. And so really that's what was going on with Elsa in the beginning, is she really didn't know what was going on with her, which is what was happening with me. I didn't know what was going on with me. She only knew she had these powers, these little powers, and it was something that she didn't work with at all after her parents were gone. So and there was a time with me where I felt like I had these capabilities that if I talked with anybody about them, or even tried to like have it seem real for me, it just, nothing added up in my reality. So I really concealed it and didn't feel it, as her song said. And I really did my best to not let it show, not let them know, but it got to a point where I couldn't hide it anymore. My authentic self was begging to come out, and I was allowing it, and I just did not have it. The experience I was born into is very dense, and I have a lot of density that I put myself into in order to really fly out of it, and not be ever tempted to go back into it. Like that, I'm grateful for at this point. That was long, 10, 15, 20 years, but I will take it. But I really wanted to talk about that because she was following her heart, and it didn't look great to everybody else, but she had to find out who she is, what she was capable of, had to learn herself, had to love herself. That was another thing too. Like, it was the self-love. If she couldn't accept herself for who she is and what her gifts were, she was never going to be able to work with them. She was going to be afraid. And so, I really had to bring that up to them because it's not as a parent, I suppose, that, and even though how Elsa went about it didn't look that great for everybody else, and other people took it upon themselves to feel like they needed to chase after her, because they loved her, and that was great, and everything worked out because both of them were following their hearts. But Elsa doing what she did ultimately was what, you know, going on into the next movie, when she really starts like ascending and stepping into her more into her authentic self and what her purpose is. In the next movie, they show like that shift in why her going through these things and following that voice and all of these things were so important, even if it was selfish in the eyes of others, because Anna didn't want her to go without her and all of these things. Elsa did what she was impulsed to do. And ultimately, that is what saved everybody else. It had nothing to do with Elsa doing it on her own. She literally was like, I feel like I need to do this and you can't come with me. Like, she was just following her heart, saving people as she went, from following her into the depths of where she needed to go. And I feel that because I really went down into some depths, and I would really like for that to be something that could save somebody from ever having to do that. So it doesn't always look pretty. And finding yourself, there's that beautiful destruction when you start aligning with that path towards who you are. Because what you've been, more than likely, is opposite. So everything that's come into your reality in one way, shape, or form will start to disappear because it wasn't for you or from you, if that makes sense. So then you start gaining what is for you and from you. Once you start stepping on that path, but you have to clear out so you can make room for new things, so you can bring in. So I do want to go back to what the book said about the card real quick, because I really liked it. It said there is no blueprint on how you, quote, should be. And it reminded me of what one of my psychiatrists said a few years ago, when I told him I was having a hard time and I just kept feeling like I should be in a better place. And I know better, so I should be doing better. Like all of these things. And he looked at me finally and was like, don't should yourself on my couch. Yeah. And I was like, what? Oh. He's like, stop shitting yourself. Like, there is no should. It's just where you are, and you should accept that. Like, you'll accept that, and then you keep moving forward, and you'll accept that. He said, but don't should yourself. And that reminded me of something that I told somebody a few weeks ago, when they said, I'm supposed to be doing this right now, instead of what they felt called to do in the moment. They were doing what they felt called to do. But I told him, I was like, the only thing you are supposed to do is follow your heart. That is who you are. The mind is not our own. I've been giving that one to my son for a few weeks now. The mind is not our own. It's all of ours. And so that makes it a little tricky. And the heart is who you are. And so the heart is the one with the eyes that see and the ears that hear. And the heart is the one that makes actions and puts out that which is already yours, and puts out that frequency to say it's time. And it receives those impulses. And if you can do the impulses without thinking, don't second guess yourself. If you can do the impulses without thinking, just following what vibrates and feels good for you. If you can do those things, you'll see how everything unfolds. Even if it seems bad in the moment, you'll begin to see how everything unfolds for your good. But you have to follow what's exciting, and through your heart, with love. Not greed, but with love for yourself and others. For all. But yeah, like there's no blueprint for how you should be. You're creating it as you go. And the only thing you're supposed to do is just follow your heart, because that will help lead you to the highest vibratory creation that you could possibly do in that moment. Yeah, that. The only other thing that I do want to tap on for Frozen was when the trolls are talking to them about Elsa's gifts and fear. Fear is what can cause disruptions, can cause those unpreferable reflections to come back, because that's what's within you. And so if you are focusing on something you're fearing, then you're going to see it, because where the mind goes, energy flows. So that's what's coming to you. So fear is the opposer, the antagonizer for this, like for who you are. It'll slow you down. But it's self-love and turning that into love for all, or going the other way. If you have love for all and turning that into self-love, because that's kind of where I am. And I think maybe where Elsa is, or Elsa was in the beginning, because I think she wanted to do well for everyone. I think she was scared of herself. And I've been there. I am stepping out of there. But it's when you can bring the self-love and the love for all together that the potential is realized. And then within conscious control, you can start to manipulate it within your own awareness, instead of it kind of manipulating you, as it would seem, because you're not aware of what's going on. And yeah, I just, again, those movies are really about two things. One, awakening into the self on one end, and what that looks like, and how maybe that's not always pretty, and it's scary, because you do have to go into the unknown sometimes and have to leave everyone you've left behind. And then you feel like, oh my gosh, I already went through this like walkabout, and I left, and I did all of these things, and it didn't seem so great for everybody. But what if I am being called to leave again? But everybody I love is right here, and I don't want to change anything. But that's the thing. All things change. All things change. The only thing that doesn't change is the fact that all things change. And that's a blessing, you know. There are a lot of things that we wouldn't want to stay the same, and we have changed already in humanity, and that's beautiful. And so we are tapping into that still. But yeah, so I really wanted to make this video, because I know that I'm working on this right now, like for myself, because I'm like coughing that out, for myself, just awakening into myself and not having judgment, like even making this video, because I've really barely done anything so far, and I keep being told that I need to do something because somebody needs to hear what I'm saying. So even if it's one or two people, like somebody needs to hear this, and I recognize this, and I'm breaking out of my own fear-based beliefs and my own beliefs of lack, or being, not being enough or too much, because I have that on both sides. Like, some people think I'm not enough, and some people think I'm too much, and I don't know what to do for them anymore. So I'm just gonna be me and be me. Yeah, get that out. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna have fun with love for us. All right. Well, yeah, I just thank you so much for offering me the space to do this and open up and expand. And there will be more to come. I know it. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. So much love and light to you all. Bye.